My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and without him, I'm nothing. I'm a pretty self-confident person.
How do you call a quarterback who rewrites the rookie record books, silences the doubters, and turns a struggling franchise into a contender overnight? You call him CJ Stroud. Life was not easy in his teens as his father, who was a pastor, was arrested, but I guess things worked out. From Rancho Cucamonga, California, to the bright lights of college football at Ohio State University, Stroud's journey was built on precision, patience, and perseverance. After sitting and learning, he exploded onto the scene as the Buckeyes starter, throwing for over 4,000 yards in back-to-back seasons, becoming a two-time Heisman finalist, and carving up defenses with one of the smoothest releases in the game. Were his capabilities questioned? Yes. Did he prove himself? Of course he did. And now he is an achieved athlete, living large, like any other athlete with accolades as his. Today, I would be taking a deep dive into his life, turning each stone, but most especially the part where he enjoys what he has worked for. Smash the like button and subscribe as we dive in. Trust me, you want to sit for this one. Most reports mention the outcome, but rarely explain the buildup. I got you. Coleridge Bernard CJ Stroud IV, born on October 3, 2001, in Rancho Cucamonga, California, was the youngest of 4 children in a family that held big dreams and even bigger challenges. Before the world knew him as a record-breaking quarterback, CJ was a kid navigating a complicated household shaped by love, faith, and hardship. His father, Coleridge Bernard Stroud III, was once a pastor, a man whose sermons filled their church with energy and whose voice echoed through the pews where young CJ often sat. His mother, Kimberly, was the family's steady force, loving, protective, and deeply invested in shaping her children's character. Together, they raised their 4 children in an environment grounded in church, discipline, and community involvement. But life shifted dramatically when CJ was just 13 years old. In 2016, his father was sentenced to 38 years to life after pleading guilty to kidnapping, carjacking, robbery, and related charges stemming from a drug-related incident. Overnight, the family's foundation shook. Money vanished, stability evaporated, and the Strouds found themselves living in a cramped apartment above a storage facility, clinging to whatever normalcy they could manage. The emotional toll was heavy. CJ had lost not only a father figure, but the person he once called his best friend. The void left behind was immense. Still, his mother stepped into both roles, parent and provider, working tirelessly to keep the family afloat while nurturing her son's budding dreams. Through every hardship, she pushed him to stay focused, stay faithful, and stay determined. The financial strain was relentless. CJ played through high school games wearing old cleats that gave him blisters, and once lined up under the lights with only one contact lens, unable to afford a replacement. He studied quarterback mechanics through YouTube videos instead of private coaching sessions. Some days his school sent home packaged meals because the family couldn't make ends meet. But through it all, CJ kept showing up, kept throwing, kept learning, kept believing. Football became his refuge. At Rancho Cucamonga High School, he sharpened his instincts and strengthened his arm. And even though he entered his junior year with almost no game experience, barely 50 pass attempts, and only one scholarship offer, something changed in him. Talent met hunger. The boy who grew up above a storage unit became a star, slowly, steadily, defiantly. His early life wasn't glamorous. It wasn't easy. It wasn't the path most 5-star prospects take. It was forged through adversity, strengthened through faith, and propelled by the unwavering support of a mother who refused to let her son abandon his potential. His professional journey began with a phone call that would alter the trajectory of a franchise. In April 2023, the Houston Texans selected Stroud with the 2nd overall pick in the NFL draft, placing their future squarely on the shoulders of the Ohio State star, who had already rewritten record books and carved his name into college football lore. From the moment he arrived in Houston, Stroud was more than a rookie. He was a catalyst. His transition into the NFL didn't carry the stumbles typical of a young quarterback. Instead, it looked like an unfolding revelation. In his first season, Stroud displayed command, maturity, and accuracy that belied his age. He led the Texans to a division title and their first playoff victory of the new era, becoming the heartbeat of a team long hungry for revival. For this extraordinary debut, he earned the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award, cementing his status as one of the league's most electrifying new stars. Stroud's rookie numbers became their own kind of poetry, clean, efficient, and deceptively explosive. His professional output grew from the foundation laid at Ohio State, where he had broken the school record for most passing yards in a single game with 573, and became the first Buckeye to throw 6 touchdowns in a game 3 separate times. These college feats were more than statistics. They were early signs of the quarterback he would become, poised, cerebral, and unflinching in big moments. But if his rookie season surprised the league, what followed confirmed the inevitable. By 2025, Stroud had accumulated 10,876 passing yards and 62 touchdowns across his NFL career, posting a passer rating of 93.5, numbers that firmly established him as the franchise player Houston had hoped for. His rising star earned him Pro Bowl honors, along with inclusion on the PFWA All-Rookie team, recognition befitting the precision of his play and the leadership he exuded from the first snap he took as a Texan. Stroud's professional identity soon became defined by a rare blend of calm execution and explosive capability. In Houston, he became the linchpin of a rapidly developing offense, lifting teammates, stabilizing a rebuilding franchise, and giving fans a reason to believe in something bigger than statistics: hope. The Texans, long searching for a cornerstone, found one in a quarterback who played with poise beyond his years and a mind attuned to the smallest nuances of the game. Yet his professional ascent has been shaped not only by talent, but by resilience. The pressure to transform an entire organization didn't weigh him down, it sharpened him. Week after week, Stroud has showcased the cerebral decision-making, pinpoint accuracy, and relentless competitiveness that once made him a 2-time Heisman finalist. He brought those traits with him to the NFL, crafting a narrative of steady growth and steadfast leadership in one of the league's toughest divisions. He is a rising force in the NFL, a player whose impact stretches beyond box scores and highlight reels. Stroud's rise isn't just measured in yards or touchdowns, but in value, in recognition, and in the building of a personal empire. CJ Stroud, still early in his NFL journey, has already crafted a financial footprint that mirrors the promise of his career. By 2025, analysts estimate his net worth at around $12 million, a figure powered by salary, bonuses, and an expanding endorsement portfolio. His wealth began taking shape the moment he entered the league. Selected second overall in the 2023 NFL Draft, Stroud signed a 4-year, $36.2 million fully guaranteed rookie contract, including a $23.38 million signing bonus, money that hit his bank account before he ever took a professional snap. The structure of the deal positioned him for financial security from day one, with annual salaries climbing each year and a 5th-year option waiting on the horizon. By early 2026, his net worth remained estimated at $12 million, underscoring how quickly he turned potential into paychecks. His NFL earnings alone had already surpassed $26.5 million, a number driven largely by guaranteed money embedded in his contract. But Stroud's financial story extends far beyond league compensation. Even before stepping onto an NFL field, he was already building capital through NIL deals at Ohio State, earning approximately $2.9 million from partnerships that included brands like Designer Shoe Warehouse, Express, Value City Furniture, and more. Those early endorsements showcased what companies were beginning to see: a poised, marketable young star with nationwide appeal. Once he arrived in the NFL and became the centerpiece of the Texans' resurgence, the marketing world took notice. By 2025, he had expanded his portfolio, signing with major brands such as Jordan Brand and Cheetos, fueling additional income streams that complemented his contract earnings. These partnerships form the second pillar of his net worth growth, one built on charisma, visibility, and the kind of leadership that resonates far beyond the sidelines. And yet, for all the wealth he has accumulated, Stroud has consistently embraced a perspective rare among rising stars. He calls himself a giver, sharing publicly that one of his first major purchases after signing his rookie deal was buying cars for his mother, sister, and brother. It was a small glimpse into a mindset shaped by hardship, one that sees money not just as luxury, but as a tool for gratitude and impact. That generosity reflects his financial comfortability. Let us take a look at the places he calls his home. Because Stroud keeps his housing extremely private, the public record does not reveal detailed mansion specs. However, we would take a glimpse into where he lives now and the kind of home he keeps. Somewhere just beyond the stadium's shadow, tucked within a calm stretch of suburban streets, sits the home of CJ Stroud. Not marked by celebrity excess or towering gates, but by something subtler and far more telling, a sense of purpose and privacy. Because unlike many rising stars, Stroud hasn't built a mansion to show the world. Instead, he's crafted a space where he can breathe, recover, and prepare. His own quiet corner of Houston, intentionally kept out of the spotlight. The specifics, street names, neighborhoods, interior layouts, remain deliberately hidden, a protective measure embraced by Stroud, his agency, and the Texans organization. What the public can see is the energy he brings into that space. The home, described broadly in media coverage, reflects a lifestyle built on discipline rather than display. It's a modern Texas residence geared toward recovery, film study, and solitude. A place where the noise of the NFL fades and the young quarterback can reset. Nothing ostentatious, nothing designed to impress, just a sanctuary, a functional base for a player carrying the hopes of a franchise. But the story of CJ Stroud and real estate reaches further back, beyond Houston, beyond football fame, to a time when home meant something far more fragile. In an interview in November 2023, Stroud revealed a promise he made as a sixth grader during the darkest chapter of his childhood. When his father was sentenced to 38 years and his family's life collapsed into emotional and financial instability, young CJ made a vow. One day, he would buy his mother a house and lift her out of the pain that had shaken their world. "I was really young," he said, "but I always knew I'd get my mom a house, get her out of that situation." That promise echoed across the years. Through nights spent in a cramped apartment above a storage facility, through games played with torn cleats and missing contact lenses, through every hurdle that shaped him. And when the NFL came calling, Stroud didn't buy himself a mansion first. The very first major purchase he made with his professional earnings? Homes for his mother, his sister, and his brother. Not symbols of wealth, but symbols of gratitude. So while the world may wonder what kind of mansion CJ Stroud lives in, the answer lies not in blueprints or aerial photos, but in meaning. His Houston home reflects who he is now: private, grounded, disciplined. The homes he purchased for his family reflect who he has always been: devoted, selfless, driven by love. And perhaps that is the real mansion story here, not the house he lives in today, but the homes he built for the people who held him up long before the world knew his name. Let's see if there are some cars parked under his name, or perhaps just the ones he's got for family. Because for CJ Stroud, the story of cars has never been about horsepower, chrome, or collecting status symbols. It has been about something deeper, something promised long before the NFL spotlight ever found him. In the wake of his father's incarceration, he watched his mother battle impossible odds. And in that moment, he made a vow that would follow him into adulthood. One day, he would buy his mom a house and buy cars for the family who never stopped believing in him. Years later, when his talent met opportunity and the Houston Texans called his name with the second overall pick, Stroud's first purchases weren't for himself. There was no flashy sports car roaring out of a dealership lot, no celebratory supercar splashed across social media. Instead, with the very first major chunk of his rookie contract, part of a fully guaranteed $36.2 million deal, CJ Stroud walked into dealerships not for indulgence, but for gratitude. He bought cars for his mother, his sister, and his brother, fulfilling the promise he had made as a child. Imagine the scene. A mother who carried her family through hardship receives keys to her new ride. A sister and brother who had stood shoulder to shoulder with CJ through life's storms suddenly find themselves behind the wheel of gifts born from sacrifice, perseverance, and love. No showroom moment in the world of supercar collecting could match that. Even today, while many young NFL stars flaunt exotic garages, Stroud's relationship with cars remains grounded, personal, and intimately tied to the people who shaped him. There are no public records of him amassing a collection of sports cars or luxury SUVs. Since his life is so tied to his immediate family, let us see if there is something else to his personal life. After his father's incarceration, meals were inconsistent, resources scarce, and yet through the strain, a dream stayed alive. As he rose through high school and into Ohio State, he didn't shy away from speaking about the adversity he faced or the empathy it forged in him. He talked about faith, about understanding how hard it is to be a man, especially a Black man in our communities, and about choosing every day to walk a path guided by purpose rather than circumstance. And even as he stepped into national fame, two-time Heisman finalist, #2 overall pick, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, Stroud clung tightly to his inner circle. He spent off seasons with his family, cherishing quiet moments at the beach and taking time to clear his mind, as he told ESPN in 2025. For all the spotlight thrown on him, he has remained a young man who prefers shadows to center stage when he's off the field. His personal life is not marked by tabloid romance or flashy displays. As of the latest reports, he is not married, and he keeps his dating life, if any, tightly private. What he does not keep private is his gratitude. Today, CJ Stroud remains a man shaped by family, faith, perseverance, and forgiveness. His personal life is not defined by extravagance, but by intention. Behind the spotlight, he is the boy from Rancho Cucamonga who once slept above a storage facility, who grew up too soon, who carried promises heavier than pads, and who now honors them with quiet, steady devotion. I guess if it's not American professional football, it's family for CJ. And that's the story behind the man the NFL sees on Sundays, the leader Houston rallies behind, and the son who turned hardship into heart. If this deep dive into CJ Stroud's personal life moved you, inspired you, or taught you something new, make sure you hit that like button and share so more people can discover his story. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next character-driven NFL documentary. And now it's your turn. What part of Stroud's life surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay inspired, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.